All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Today we're taking on a genuinely vital quest, discovering your true natural talents. Because let's be honest, if you've ever felt like you're just going through the motions, or maybe you're desperately looking for that spark that makes work not feel like work, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today we're exploring the core life-changing concepts from Ken Robinson's highly acclaimed work on finding what he calls the element.
So, to kick things off, Robinson shares this absolutely brilliant little anecdote set in Oklahoma. Imagine two young fish swimming down a river. An older fish swims past them, going the other way, nods and says, "Good morning, boys. How's the water?" The two young fish smile, swim on for a bit, and then finally one turns to the other and says, "What's water?" And this brilliantly illustrates a profound truth about ourselves. We so often take our natural element, our true talents, and the environments where we actually thrive completely for granted. We either don't even know we're in it, or we're so totally disconnected from it that we don't even know what it looks like.
So the crucial starting point is defining what we're actually looking for here. What exactly is the element? Well, Robinson defines it as the exact point where natural aptitude meets personal passion. Basically, it means you're doing something for which you have a completely natural feel, whether that's teaching, playing the guitar, writing code, you name it. But here's the real kicker. Being in your element doesn't just mean being good at something. You have to genuinely love it too. It really has to resonate deeply with who you are.
Which brings us perfectly to Ken Robinson's highly anticipated sequel, Finding Your Element. This book was actually born out of the massive global response to his first book on the topic. People were deeply inspired, sure, but they wanted to know how to actually pull it off. They wanted the how-to. So this explainer is breaking down that very guide. It's designed not just to inspire you, but to give you actionable, real-world tools to uncover your talents and passions, literally no matter your age or your current career path.
Let's look at a concrete example to make this real. Robinson talks about a woman in her early 60s who spent her entire working life as an accountant. Why? Well, because as a kid in school, she just got numbers right away. She became completely fascinated by mathematics. She didn't just have a knack for it, she relished it. For her, crunching numbers and balancing books literally never felt like work. She was fully in her element because her natural, raw ability perfectly overlapped with what she just loved to do.
And honestly, this reality builds perfectly on some pretty ancient wisdom. You know that famous Confucius quote, "Choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life"? Well, the author jokes that Confucius obviously hadn't read his book, but he for sure understood the concept. This quote brilliantly captures the ultimate goal of finding your element. It's about transforming your daily experience from just enduring your life, dragging yourself through the week just waiting for Friday, to truly enjoying it because your work is fueled by authentic, real passion.
Now at this point, you might be asking yourself, okay, but what's in it for me? Why go through all the trouble of all this deep self-discovery? Well, Robinson breaks down the stakes into three distinct areas. First is personal. It is absolutely vital for understanding who you truly are and what you're genuinely capable of doing with your time on Earth. Step two is social. Look, we have a society plagued by a lack of purpose, alienation in schools, and just rising disengagement everywhere. Finding your element is basically an antidote to that. And step three is economic. Finding work that actually aligns with your element dramatically enhances your overall life balance and career fulfillment.
Think about it like this. We can see a really stark economic contrast here. On one side, we have a fully engaged workforce. When people are doing meaningful work that aligns with their element, an organization is highly likely to succeed. They're crushing it. But look at the alternative. A detached workforce is characterized by cynicism, a lack of inspiration, and a profound lack of purpose. When human resources are buried and ignored like that, we pay a massive economic and social price. So finding your element is essentially unearthing those buried natural resources.
So how do we actually find it? Robinson frames this entire search as a quest. And honestly, just like a medieval knight's adventure, it involves a real journey, some risks, and definitely uncertain outcomes. But specifically, it requires a two-way journey. First, you have to take an inward journey to explore yourself, your deep-seated passions, your hidden aptitudes. But second, it demands an outward journey to explore the worldly opportunities that can act as a stage for those talents. You gotta look inside, but you absolutely have to look around you too.
But a quick word of caution before you rush off on this quest. Consider the number 4.26. Any idea what that represents? Back in 1948, psychologist Bertram Forer gave his students a personality test. But here's the catch. He secretly gave them all the exact same generic profile copied straight from a newspaper astrology column. He then asked them to rate how accurately it described them on a scale of 0 to 5.
The average score? 4.26. People overwhelmingly believe this completely generic text was uniquely tailored just to them. Mind-blowing, right?
So the crucial takeaway here is understanding what became known as the Barnum effect, or subjective validation. It's incredibly easy to believe generic one-size-fits-all statements about ourselves. You know, like those cheap internet quizzes we all take to find out what kind of sandwich we are. But finding your element is not about taking a quick quiz and forcing yourself into some pre-made mold. It requires a true personal quest. It's a critical, totally unique, and often really challenging inward journey of authentic self-discovery. You have to do the real work. And that brilliantly illustrates why those general tests fail us so badly. We naturally bend our judgments to fit what we want to be true. Plus, general tests simply cannot capture the immense complexity of your unique abilities. To drive this home, the author brings in this hilarious historical anecdote from Jerome K. Jerome's 1879 novel, Three Men in a Boat. The hypochondriac hero reads a medical dictionary from A to Z and somehow completely convinces himself he has every single disease listed in the book except housemaid's knee. It's funny, but it's exactly what we do when we desperately search for quick, easy answers about our identities.
Here's the thing, though. Your element might not be obvious at first glance. Actually, scratch that. It rarely is. You might have aptitudes you haven't even discovered yet, simply because you haven't been in the right environment, or maybe life circumstances have just kept you away from them. Which brings us to a highly improbable journey, the ultimate proof of concept for this entire philosophy, which happens to be the author's very own life story.
Consider Robinson's own journey. He was born in Liverpool in 1950. At just 4 years old, he contracted polio and was almost completely paralyzed literally overnight. By age 5, he was wearing leg braces, stuck in a wheelchair, and had a really severe lisp. He spent a lot of time in total isolation, just acting as a quiet observer. Absolutely nothing about his early life pointed to a massive career on stage. Yet during his college years, he discovered this deep, undeniable love for directing, presenting, and speaking. Despite his early physical challenges and being a naturally self-contained guy, he found his true element in front of crowds. He'd settle in quickly and just completely lose track of time when he was up there.
Which brings us to the ultimate question for you. Are you in your element, or are you still looking for it? Remember, this isn't some generic 10-step program, and your journey won't look identical to anyone else's. But whether you are a student right now, a mid-career professional feeling stuck, or even enjoying retirement, uncovering that magic intersection of your natural talent and your deepest passion is a quest absolutely worth undertaking. So take a look inward, take a look outward, and ask yourself, what is your water?